Hello, my name is Mike Schneider. Glad to be here with you today. And you might be wondering, where is my accordion? Well, today is going to be a very different kind of video. Going to be much longer than normal, but one that I think you'll enjoy. And you know, if you've seen movies at home on DVD or Blu-ray, a lot of times they'll include director's commentary on those movies. That is what I'm going to do right now for Christmas Kielbasa, my new holiday album that you can pre-order right now at MikeSchneiderBand.com. Just look for this image. It officially releases tomorrow. So I'll be posting as soon as I have them links to all the digital platforms. If you'd prefer a download copy, you'll be able to do that starting tomorrow. So right now, what do you say we get into the action with my commentary for Christmas Kielbasa? And we'll get started right away here with the original Christmas Kielbasa, the title track, with Alex Vinicki from Box on trumpets and Don Hanjady on clarinet. And Don actually doesn't like to play the clarinet very much. He says he's not very good at it. But don't believe him, because he does a really good job of it in the studio. And with him and Alex on the lead part, they did a great job for me. And you're going to notice right off the bat, if you're a big polka fan, that this is the Polish style. And I have played the Slovenian style ever since I was a kid. But I came up with this idea for a song about a guy that ate too much kielbasa on Christmas Day, had some problems as a result. And I thought, well, it'd be good to do something Polish and actually start the album with it. It wasn't my original intent, but I had done some research that suggested, well, I should start with what I think will be the hit. And I think this will be a hit, relatively speaking. Of all the songs on the album, this one I think has the most potential. And I hope you enjoy it. Christmas Kielbasa. And again, you can get it at MikeSchneiderBand.com. And the reason I'm saying that again is because I won't be talking over the songs on the CD, but I'm just providing some background right now. And now we're about to get into the second instrumental, and I'm doing something in here called bellow shaking. So I'm going back and forth with my bellows. And that kind of provides a nice accordion foundation to what Alex and Don are doing on trumpet and clarinet.
My wife called the hearse, so sickly I was, so I must go now. You know it's because of Christmas.
I just couldn't talk over that part there with a nice little harp in the background. And I use a lot of virtual instruments, and my hope in using those is that you don't know the difference, that you can't tell. That's the goal of using virtual instruments, and it's a lot of work, you know, playing those parts like the harp on my keyboard, but hopefully the final product is a good one. Right now, the group vocalists, my family's in there, and a friend of ours, their family's singing.
Christmas Kielbasa, Christmas Kielbasa.
Along with Don Hanjady, Jim Thal, and a whole group of musicians. Just a lot of fun. And here comes song number 2. This is a song I remember hearing Vern Meisner play live as a polka. And of course, it's Jolly Old St. Nicholas. This, I think, just makes a tremendous polka. I've really enjoyed listening to this one over the years, or having it play in my head. Anyway, Vern Meisner's edition of it. Live, I heard him at Pulaski Inn play it. Now this second part, actually, I believe, is kind of my own creation. I'm not sure where it came from, but I just thought it needed something extra. I wanted to make it more of a traditional polka, and came up with that.
When the clock is striking 12, when I'm fast asleep, down the chimney.
And now you can hear more of the virtual instruments playing. I have the handbells in the background, the church chimes, the wood block. Believe it or not, the only thing that's real in that is my accordion and my singing. Right now, though, you'll hear Ron Sluga on banjo. And I'll tell you what, Ron, at the time of this, I believe, was 83 years old. You'd never guess. You'd never guess looking at him, and you would never, ever guess hearing him play. I had him do so many roles because that's what he's known for, having played with Kenny Bass and Eddie Rodick over the years, and of course Frankie Yankovic, Walter Ostanek, been on Grammy-nominated and award-winning albums. Just did a fantastic job for me. Can't say enough good things about Ron. Now this is my kids singing in the group vocal along with some of our friends' kids.
Tell me if you can, whisper what you bring to me. Tell me if you can.
They did a great job. Right now, I wondered where the song was. This is We Three Kings,
Gifts we trade.
and I wanted kind of a country feel to this one.
And fountain more and mountain following yonder star. Born a king.
So you can hear the pedal steel guitar in the background. Again, that's not to ruin any illusions. I'm kind of the magician breaking down the barrier here, but that's me on my keyboard and doing some programming after I play the parts on my computer to create a really, hopefully what I believe is a very authentic sounding steel guitar part. Same thing with a nylon string guitar part here. The pedal steel guitar is from Impact Soundworks, and the string guitar, the steel guitar rather, is from Orange Tree Samples. I hope I'm thinking right about that. I'm pretty sure it's Orange Tree Samples, and they put out some good stuff, and I'm glad to use it because it sounds pretty good. On this, I'm the only vocalist. You hear me singing by myself now, and now actually there's a few other voices joining in. I'm singing my own harmony, and really enjoyed doing that. I wish I could have had some other vocalists do some of the singing, and I could have had Don Hanjady do it, but I thought I'll save him the time and effort, and I just do it myself, and hopefully that turned out okay. Right now, though, Don Hanjady is going to play. And kind of departing from the country theme here a bit, doing more of a jazz-style alto saxophone part. And from the instant I decided to record this song, I knew I wanted this in there because I'd have some pretty heavy chords going on my accordion. I like chords, by the way. If you haven't figured that out, you'll hear those in this song and some other songs, and really like to dress up a common song. This song has been played over and over and over again, but I like to make old arrangements sound new and do that through chords and different instrumentation. And like I said, Don Hanjady just did a great job in the alto part, and then comes in again at the end here, and we kind of went with sort of a, and I hope I'm saying the name right, Burt Bacharach? Not sure. I'm sorry, Burt. I don't think Burt is still with us, but you can hear Don's part here at the very end. Just kind of a jazzy feel. I like that sound. Really like the way that song turned out. Now, we're going back to polka time once again, and this is another original called Christmas Elf.
Christmas elf by herself, sitting still atop the shelf. She'll come alive if you believe.
And this is another one of those songs. I had this story going around in my head, and I wrote this, if I remember correctly. This album, Christmas Kielbasa, has been probably 3 or 4 years in the making. And we went down to visit my wife's family down near St. Louis over a Christmas. And in fact, I think it was Christmas Eve we were driving down. So I was kind of getting in the Christmas spirit, and I had all these ideas going through my head on that trip. And I think I wrote the lyrics for this one on that trip, in addition to another song or two that'll be coming up later. You may have just heard the xylophone. Just wanted something a little more comedic to come up in there, because this is, a lighthearted song, and hope I got that feel. This, what you're hearing right now, the organ in the background, undeniably, this has a kind of a Meisner feel to it. Vern Meisner, Steve Meisner. And that is what I called my Jingle Bell Circus turnaround. Hopefully I wasn't talking too much over that, but I really had some fun with some of these arrangements. But the organ is a total Meisner thing, and I just love that sound, and I had to include it at some point on Christmas Kielbasa. And Christmas Elf, I just kind of a neat little story about an elf going around a Christmas tree. Ah, Klaus the yodeling reindeer. The woodblock is supposed to be the reindeer with his hoofs.
Hello, I'm Klaus, and I yodel every day. But what you may not know is that I pull Santa's sleigh.
Now, I was the narrator of this one, and I'm also the yodeler. I almost never yodel on stage. The exception to that is when Jim Thal is with me, and he yodels very well, very good yodeler. I am just good enough to get by in the studio. I can do a few things like this, and they generally turn out sounding pretty good, but to do it on stage at this point, I really need to practice to sound like this on stage, at least with more complicated stuff. I could pull this off on stage, but this is just another story that kind of came into my head. I wanted to have a yodel song. In fact, I wanted to record Christmas Yodeler, but Paul Yanchar, the vocalist for Johnny Pecan for so many years, and Jeff Pecan, he did such a wonderful job singing that song, I couldn't possibly top it. So I thought, I'm going to leave that one alone. So I came up with my own yodel song and had some, if you listen here,
Klaus's yodels come back, a reassuring sound.
some very unconventional chord progressions for a polka song. But still, I hope this song has kind of a Roger Bright feel to it. Interestingly enough, Roby Schneider was Roger's was a yodeler with Roger Brighter. Actually, at that point, Roger was working for Roby, if I have my story correct. I'm sorry if I don't, but I believe Roger played accordion for Roby. Roby was an amazing yodeler. His last name was Schneider. We're not related, but I love his yodeling, and I try to pattern myself after that when I'm yodeling.
How about that apple, Santa Claus?
And now it's time for what I thought originally would be a schottisch.
On the housetop, reindeer
Up on the housetop. And I thought I want to keep this completely a polka, waltz, schottisch album. It's all in the same family, but I really like Western swing. Really like Asleep at the Wheel.
wouldn't go. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go up on the housetop?
And I have to say quick, my in-laws are on the group vocal part, in addition to all the people that I just mentioned before, and they did an amazing job. My mother-in-law, Elaine, really can hold pitch extremely well. She sings in the church choir, did a great job. My father-in-law, Charlie, he doesn't hold pitch quite as well. I'm sorry, Charlie, I'm sure you're watching this, but he did a great job. They both did a great job, and it adds so much to this group vocal. Of all the group vocals I've ever done, this is by far the one that turned out best. That's Don Hunjady on clarinet. That's some guy playing the accordion. That's me. And this again is the pedal steel guitar I mentioned earlier, along with myself on piano, Don Hunjady on clarinet.
Comes the stocking of Little Will.
And now this, you hear some hammers tapping in the background. Those are real. Those are real hammers. I will let you know. I did not go to the virtual instrument collection for that. I actually got a pair of hammers and was pounding them together here in my office at a distance of maybe about 10 feet. I felt that gave me the best sound. But the interesting production techniques that happen in recording. But Western swing, I love Western swing, so I just had to go in that direction with this song. And now, this is a song I remember growing up playing with my dad. We'd play in what he'd call his den just about every night as practice. My dad passed away back in 2014. My mom passed away in 2015. That was a tough time. So I'll just dedicate this song to them, because this is a song I remember a lot from my childhood, good memories of playing it. And again, this is another song that I really wanted to add my own signature to, so to speak, with the chords that I use. And Jim Thal, by the way, is playing electric guitar in this song. He played acoustic guitar in the last song. I didn't mention him. He is a wonderful human being, just the nicest guy, very dedicated sideman. and was so glad to include him on this Christmas album. He did a great job, and you can see him play with me quite often. Does a great job on stage on banjo and guitar, but this one he's playing guitar on, and just did a wonderful job. But he always gets a kick out of the chords that I use, because they are so different apparently than anything else that he's heard in terms of playing with a polka band. So I get a kick out of doing it myself, just seeing what I can, how I can dress up a song, essentially. And on this part you can hear a glockenspiel and also a celeste or celeste. Depends upon what school of thought you subscribe to or school of pronunciation. I guess the classical musicians say it a different way, but kind of that bell keyboard. I thought that was perfect for this song. So this is a classical piece, and my other reason for including this on my Christmas Kielbasa CD is so that DJs had something that they could play off of this year-round. They could play it anytime. You can play it in the summer, you can play it in the autumn, you can play it in the spring. There's no words to it. It's just a nice classical piece of music, and I hope it's something that you enjoy year-round as well. Big finish with the piano glissando, and let me say, for an accordion player, those glissandos are tough.
Down the chimney set to go.
Now it's time for Polka Down the Chimney.
Did the polka hop.
And I will say there are a few special guests in that chant. One of them is Jim Ebner, and you may be familiar with that name from Polka Parade in Milwaukee. He was a longtime DJ, founded Polka Parade, and just a great friend of mine. And he is over 90 years old. And you would never guess that I had a 90-year-old doing that chant. Jim comes up later in the album as well, and just did a wonderful job. So glad to include him on this project. This is a song you might think, listening to it to start with, it's kind of a normal Slovenian style arrangement. It may lead a little bit Polish with the accordion part, but not to spoil the surprise. Coming up at the end, Alex Vinicki joins in again from Box On and does a great job with. I had kind of this vision of a Polish trumpet part, and he really drove it home. Really did a great job on the Polish trumpet part at the end. In fact, that's coming up. You'll hear kind of a breakaway into what would normally be played on concertina. I'm doing it on accordion, of course, because I don't play concertina. Now you hear Alex coming in. And Don Hunjady joining in on saxophone as well. Really fun part. Fun way to end that song. Now, we go to, I have to give credit here to the Chardon Polka Band. I didn't realize that they had a whole album named Polka Around the Christmas Tree. I was going to name my Christmas CD that, and for the longest time I thought, it's got to be Polka Around the Christmas Tree, because I wrote this song, and I thought, man, it's perfect. And then I did some research, I Googled it, and I thought, oh no, there's already a Christmas album out there, and it's by the Chardon Polka Band. They, however, did not write a song called Polka Around the Christmas Tree. I guess they left that door open for me. So thank you, Chardon Polka Band. Don Hunjady said he thought this is a really catchy song. And if you know Don Hunjady at all, you know that's a really high compliment, because Don doesn't say too many nice things. And I will take that from Don 100%. Now coming up here, got to give credit to Tom Brusky. And I'll be giving credit to Tom in a couple other places, but this, you hear the solo vox. Tom did a wonderful job replicating and actually recording, digitally sampling Frankie Yankovic's solo vox, as owned now by Grant Kazera. So I got to say thanks to Grant for lending Tom that solo vox so that he could recreate digitally the solo vox sound. That's just a classic Frankie Yankovic sound, and I just had to include a nod to Frankie somewhere in this album. And I've got one of Frankie Yankovic's banjo players on here with Ron Sluga, and then I've got basically Frankie Yankovic's solo Vox organ on here too, and that's just a cool thing for me to be able to do, because growing up, my parents, we'd listen to Frankie Yankovic albums all the time, and that solo Vox album, solo Vox sound was so important to me, as was the banjo sound. In fact, when I was a kid, I always thought the banjo was a chicken. I thought somehow Frankie had gotten this chicken to respond on call, but it was actually, maybe it was Ron Sluga. But really, really fun stuff. Now, with apologies, this is the very cliche Jingle Bells. If you record a Christmas album, it's almost a prerequisite that you include Jingle Bells. And again, you know, I'm trying to put my own spin on it in different parts. The second time through the Dashing Through the Snow part, you'll hear where my chords come in again. And Don Hajady follows along with a nice sax part. I also want to give credit on this one to my kids and to kids of friends of ours, who are singing along, and they did a great job. You know, I can't say enough good things about how good of pitch they all kept.
Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
So I'm singing lead, and my kids and our friends' kids are singing, well, the group part. Just did a great job. And then here you can hear Ron Sluga again on the banjo.
Dashing through the snow.
And now the chords.
One-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing our sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells.
And here I'm singing 4-part harmony. This is the first time I ever did 4-part harmony with myself.
In a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse.
And getting the 4th part in there for me was a real trick, because I'd never done it before. But it was a lot of fun. This whole album was just so much fun. I love Christmas, and just to have a chance to record a Christmas CD, a Christmas album, digital copies will be available, was a great thrill. And now, I am proud to present my 90-plus-year-old friend, Jim Ebner of Polka Parade.
When you've grown up, my dears, and are as old as I, you'll laugh and ponder on the years that rolled so swiftly by, my dears, that rolled so swiftly by.
And I had the idea for Jim to do this because for Polka Parade, back in 2005, we recorded his song, his original song, Sabrina's songs. And he narrated a part very similar to this, and I thought that is perfect. And in fact, that's a part of the song you almost never hear. And the only version of it that I found was by Doris Day. And I highly suggest you look that one up, because that is a beautiful edition of Toyland. I hope that I somewhat did that justice. But Jim did a great job for me. And then coming up here, more virtual instruments have a whole string section. And this is by a company called 8Dio. I played the strings. They made the strings, and they're just beautiful. The way the keyboard responds to velocity and to legato performance and dynamic, like I can use the modulation wheel to increase the intensity, but not increase the volume and the intensity, but it actually increases the way the musicians are using their bows. It's an amazing product, and I just really enjoy it. And thanks to Tom Brusky on this one as well for giving me some pointers in terms of how to really unleash the power of the strings and kind of tweak the arrangement. He gave me some really good feedback, so thank you, Tom.
You can never return again.
And a shout out to Native Instruments as well. I used their toy box for that, their music box. I forget what they call it, Patch, but really like that. Now, this is all Lang Syne, and a little credit goes to Gordon Hartman, because I used to play New Year's Eve with him a couple times at the Essen House in Madison, and he would do a polka arrangement of Auld Lang Syne, and I kind of ran with the ball from there. I got to give credit to Jerry Becker of the Mr. Lucky Syndicate, a fantastic swing band out of, I guess, the Hartford area of Wisconsin. They played for our wedding. They can do polkas. They do them really well. And Jerry Becker sent me his arrangement, his horn arrangement. You'll hear the horn arrangement coming up here. Unfortunately, it didn't quite fit, but I appreciate him very much sharing that arrangement. Tom Brusky and Don Hunjady gave me some really good feedback on where to go with the horn arrangement. Start with the saxes. I wanted the Guy Lombardo part, which you'll hear coming up in just a moment. I wanted the Guy Lombardo sound, so I started with that, but then I wanted to bring Ron Sluga in with a big roll and really drive the part home with the drums and with a big brass part. So the trumpets led that part off instead of the saxes. This is all Don Hunjady on the saxophones. And now Alex Vinicki on trumpet. And that part, every time I hear it, I get chills, just because of how well the arrangement turned out. I was lost with it, and then I emailed Don and Tom what I had, and they just said a few simple things, and they got me on the right track. Got the big chords in there. Don did a fantastic job, playing the alto and tenor parts, and now the group vocal part with all of the people I mentioned before. And a huge finish to it. You'll hear coming up with timpani, triangle, the full symphonic ending, and a big Ron Sluga roll. Listen to this. I always say go big or go home, and that ending with Ron Sluga ending with such a huge roll, and the group vocalists, Don Hunjady going up for the high part, reaching for the high part that you can kind of hear. I just love the way that song in particular turned out. And I could not end a holiday season with any other song than Auld Lang Syne. Well, that, my friend, brings us to the conclusion of this director's commentary for Christmas Kielbasa. Again, this is available tomorrow. You can pre-order it right now, but you can purchase it officially tomorrow by going to MikeSchneiderBand.com/Christmas. Or just go to MikeSchneiderBand.com and click on the cover of the album. And tomorrow, hopefully, we'll have the chance to post those links to all the major digital platforms that you can purchase my album as a downloadable MP3 album if you'd like to do that, or you'll be able to listen to it on all major streaming services. Of course, you may not know, but artists make very, very little money off the streaming services. I'm talking like 0.0000001 cent per play. Fact check that. That may not be 100% accurate, but I know there's a bunch of zeros before we even get to a number per play. So if you have the chance to support any musician, make sure to buy their CD or actually download their album from a place like iTunes or Amazon. My CD or my album, my Christmas Kielbasa album, will be available on both of those retailers. But really, for all music, if you really like the artist, support them. It's great to listen to them on Spotify. That is an amazing resource as well. But if you have the chance, make sure to support them by purchasing their CD or getting their album digitally on MP3 through Amazon, iTunes, and a number of other places. So that's it for that little commentary. But thank you again for your support. Thank you. In fact, I can't believe you're still watching this. I can't believe you lasted through the first song and you're still here, 30-some minutes later. You deserve an award just for that. So thank you again very much for watching, and thank you for your support of my music. I am Mike Schneider, wishing you the merriest of Christmases, happiest of holidays, and I hope you celebrate by sharing some Christmas Kielbasa with your family. Good night.